It was by Tammy Wynette, and it was talking about Jesus Christ appearing on Midnight Special or something like Saturday Night something. Anyway, I'm afraid that if he appeared on that rock show, he'd probably bring the Cat of Nine Tails along with him. But some of the music, if it wasn't for witchcraft being behind rock music, I'd hate country the most. Because I don't see how Christians can listen to it when it's talking about adultery and fornication, getting drunk, cutting people up, running around with everybody else's wife, and things like this. And that's all I ever hear on it. Okay?
When?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they were referring to. Yeah, they did. No, I'm not going to tell you. Okay?
I believe, Vic, and then Russ.
Mm-hmm. Human sacrifice? That's pretty...
Occasion.
Oh, well, the occasion was on a Sabbath. Okay? That particular Sabbath happened to be February the 2nd, Candlemas. Okay? What was the rest of it? Well, it's done, that particular one was done because of an initiation ceremony that was being done. Mine. But most of the cultists just practice 8 times a year if they're in the blood sacrifice. See, the lower witches believe that the power for witchcraft comes from orgies and sex. The higher witches believe it's attained by human blood. Okay?
Russ, I believe you had your hand.
It's a revolution that they have planned within the United States. Most people feel that something like that will never happen in the United States. They're lying to themselves. It will happen, and it's not very far off. Well, by 1980, there'll be... Helter Skelter is only an excuse, okay? The excuse is to be able to declare martial law. That's the whole reason for it. They've promised the one side that they will be able to gain control of the United States through revolution, when the whole time is they're just simply setting them up to be able to declare martial law and suspend the Constitution. And by 1980, they plan on being under martial law. Now, I'm not saying, don't all of you start lynching me at one time. I didn't say it was going to happen. I said, this is their plan. Okay? I'll leave it up to your own prayer life and watching the newspapers whether it's going to happen or not.
Maxine.
Just like most other cults. See, Jesus Christ requires just one way. Only one way. The devil will use any way to keep your eyes off that one way. Okay? It uses the same tactics wherever it branches to. I have no idea if he came out after I got out. I have no idea. They were backing groups like him before, the Christianers and so on. I can't see much difference between them and those two groups. So they probably back him too.
Okay, Mike and then Bob.
Yeah, it's the Council of Foreign Relations. Yeah, and it's inner brainchild that runs it. It's called the Trilateral Commission. Okay?
Let's see, I'll leave Bob and then Barbara.
Yeah, there's 7 principalities, about 200 powers. Then it starts getting down into lower people we never pay attention to, the lower spirits.
Barbara?
Yeah, I want to go to all just recently, about 3 weeks ago in April. The day before Jack House came to our church to speak, and the day after he left, I came, both times I came walking out of the church at Faith Baptist. One time I got in my car, started to drive off in the parking lot, about 30 people were standing around, and a passing car opened up on us with a gun. And then, that was Sunday night. Then Wednesday night of that week, I was walking out into the parking lot prior to the church letting out with a couple of brothers. And when we dug the bullets out of where they hit, they had fired twice at us, and the bullets were .44 caliber, 44 Magnum. So they don't play around. And the range was so close, it was from the back of that wall to here. You know that the Lord is in it. It really makes you appreciate His divine protection, let me tell you.
Bruce?
That world takeover plan ended with World War III. But one of the teachings is that when Lucifer sets up his kingdom, okay, that through World War III, most of the civilized world as it exists now will be in rubble. And the one protected capital that they have purposely kept all missiles away from both sides, is Jerusalem. And they plan on using Jerusalem to set up from there, okay? Do they believe that Adam's original home, or the Garden of Eden, rests where Jerusalem is? So, that's going to rule from there.
Mike and then Robin, we better let that maybe very quick.
The church that I attend and a member of is Faith Baptist in Canoga Park, Dr. Rasmussen. The work where it's at, the house, has got to remain a sound. Okay? Very well. All of our church walk around, people trying to find out where it's at, and everybody, shh. It's like the unspeakable secret. Okay? Everybody knows, but nobody says. He was a member of the Process Church of the Final Judgment, which in California is called Universal Church Triumphant Summit International. They always like these names. Okay?
Okay, let's see. Randy?
Not anymore. I try to keep out of communication as much as possible with them. My foster mother has a huge contract on my life, and my brother's trying to collect it, so I try to stay away from them.
By the way, Randy, you cannot communicate with them. You're communicating with demons. They imitate them. They cannot speak to you. Let's see. Yes, brother.
Oh, you mean counting all 8 Sabbaths they last year? From May 1st to May 1st, probably 500. And that's only a guess. I'm probably way under.
Dwayne has one of his books, Chick Publication, I believe it is, and it's made up like a comic book. It tells you, here it is.
Broken Crop. That's the one I wrote.
This is the one that tells you one of their main methods of how they get victims to offer up in blood sacrifice. All right, Robin, I think we better let this be it.
Okay, give me about a minute on this here.
Repeat her.
Okay, you heard at a Christian school. What one? Oh, in high school. Okay. You heard that C.S. Lewis was a Christian, right? Okay. First of all, Christian Accelerated Schools, as what I'm about to tell you, have investigated what I said. Christian Accelerated Education, and because of it, are now ordering all their schools to ban Lewis's work. They checked into it very carefully. So did my pastor, because he was getting hit very hard with it. He found everything I said to be true. When a witch is ready to be initiated, she must not just read, but she must study the complete works of Lewis, fictional works. Lewis has said that the way to God is like a hallway with many doors. They all lead to him. Okay? Now, the fictional works of Lewis are very real to witches. They're not fictional, they're history to witches. They really believe them. Okay? They believe their guidelines. Now, Lewis was a member of the Golden Dawn. Now, that's been proven. Along with a fellow brother of the same coven named Tolkien, who wrote The Hobbit. They were in the same time. Now, the Golden Dawn is the private church that the Rothschilds must pick every member of that church personally. It's in London. The oldest coven in the world. Okay? That's Lewis. Whether he says he's a Christian or not, that doesn't mean anything. That's where Christians are making their terrible mistake.
Could it be that he was like that, and like you said, he got converted, now he is no longer that?
He would have had to tell it. When Lewis' name was on the Golden Dawn records right up to the time that I got out. I mean, there's no betrayal there. He never did leave them. Okay? I want to say something real quick that will answer this. Many people supposedly are getting saved from the Manson family and from other things. Let me tell you something real quick so there will be no misunderstanding. You come out of the occult, you come out of the Masons, you come out anything of the Illuminati. There's one distinct thing. Anywhere there's a vow of secrecy, that vow of secrecy must be broken. Not in part, complete. When somebody breaks their complete vow of secrecy, they're out. But until they do, they're not out. Okay?
Charlene, this is it.
That's right.
Written in double what?
Witch's language. That's exactly right. Okay.
Did you hear his question? How do Masons relate to all of this?
Okay.
Listen closely, you Masons.
Council 13 is the highest council in the Illuminati. The council right below it is the Council 33. That's called the Grand Masters. There are the 33 highest Masons in the world. To be a member of the Council 33, you must take a human life in a ceremony to prove your worthiness. We have in our hands copies, and Chick Publications is releasing this in their new book, Angel of Light. Copies of a 32nd, 33rd level book which proclaims Jesus Christ, the God of brutality and sin and evil, and Lucifer, the God of love, beauty, and peace, and the true God. Yeah, a little shocking, huh? Different from the way it's portrayed. But don't be mad at the lower Masons. It also says in the same book that the lower Masons are sheep to be sheared. Now, many Masons are getting saved through our message, lower and higher, because they recognize when and I didn't tonight, gave my initiation to become a witch, and my vow of secrecy is the same as theirs. All the way through, the same. No different. Now, Masons were started by the Illuminati. It's all through our history that they're tied with the Illuminati. Their rites are witchcraft rites, when witchcraft had to go underground. We've had people come in and tear up their membership cards and get right with the Lord. Mainly because, if you didn't know this, Charles Finney was a Mason, and when he got saved, he said, I can't be a Mason and be a Christian. It is impossible, because the vows I must take are non-Christian vows. Okay? People are getting saved right and left, and they all have one thing to say. When they leave the Masons, the reason they didn't leave before is they were afraid of what the Masons would do to them. Now, if it is a good group, why are people afraid to leave it?